विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ So we almost completed the definition of Atma, and we have discussed what is to be negated, what is not Atma has to be negated, and what is the Swarupa of Atma has to be assimilated. And so the question yesterday was, how do you recognize this Atma? How do you recognize that you are Sachidananda? That was the question. And so you have to start out of this Sachidananda, you have to start with this Chit, consciousness. Because basically, first you should recognize yourself as consciousness. You recognize yourself as a conscious being. You know you are a conscious being without any kind of effort, without employing any means of knowledge. You know that you are a conscious being. So pick up that thing only. Without effort, what you know about yourself, that is conscious being, you pick up that. And when you say I am a conscious being, so you think that you are an individual. That is, why do you think that you are individual? Because you have identified with this body-mind-sense complex. That's how, without body-mind-sense complex, you are just a consciousness. But you say I am a conscious being, I am an individual who is a conscious being. Well, then definitely you have taken body, etc., the gross body, subtle body, etc., as the self. That is the self-confusion. So it has to be negated, that's all. So in order to arrive at what you are just consciousness called Chit, you have to first remove what you are not. And that is this, you should be free from this, just a minute. You should be free from basically what you are not. And you have an experience, what? That what is known to I is different from I. Take this as a baseline. What you know what is known to you, what is evident to you is not you. That is your baseline. You are knowing right now a Swami is evident to you. Well, then you definitely know for sure without asking to anybody that you are not Swami. So what is evident to the I is non-I. That's how you have to start. You are the knower, and what is known to I, the knower, is non-I. And that is how, then once you say that, and known of course includes many things, known, unknown, we have done this, very elaborate analysis of everything. And so known, unknown, that is knowable, everything is other than I. Well, the whole world is covered. One is I and one is evident to I. That is known and unknown. That is non-I. And then I, of course, then you come up to the physical body. Well, so I am a conscious being, knower, and the whole world is known. Now in this conscious being also, well, the body is non-I or I. To be a non-I for the body, it should be in the category of a known rather than a knower. Well, and you find that definitely you are different from the body, because you know your body more than anybody knows your body. That's how it is. It is also an object of knowledge, object of consciousness, and therefore definitely object of knowledge. Let's say first object of knowledge, and you are a very subject of the knowledge. That is object of knowledge. You can talk about the body. What can you talk about the body? Well, it is coming. Sthula Shariram Kim. So all this they are going to describe, they are defining the whole Sthula Sharira, gross body. And whatever is described, that is not you. Definitely not you. But that is not me, I know. No, that is the thing you don't know. Well, that is the thing you don't know. If it is just an object like this clip, etc., I may not have to give the definition of clip in the Tattvabodha. But the definition of Sthula Sharira has been given because I has been taken as a Sthula Sharira. That is our experience also. That is my physical experience, in which I take myself as a physical body. Whenever I give my introduction, I definitely include the physical body, unless I inquire through the Vedanta. Till then, I definitely take this physical body as myself. And therefore, and that is the basis for an individual. That is what I am saying, I am a conscious being. When you say I am a conscious being, in your mind definitely an individual is involved. And individuality has come due to this body is taken into an I. Well, even though it is non-I, even though it is it comes into the category of a known, but I have taken I have taken it into the knower, the I. So removing that part is first thing. And we have done elaborately, of course, and we are going to again do while defining this Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, etc. So that is the very first thing. What you are not, please negate. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta. If you want to arrive at your Sachidananda, start with this. Sthula Sukshma, what you are not, first you negate. And so once you start negating that you are not gross body, you are not this subtle body, I mean you are not the senses, you are not the mind, you are not the prana, etc. And then definitely you are just a consciousness and who is aware of both these bodies. They are all objects of knowledge. Mind is object of knowledge, memory is object of knowledge, ignorance is object of knowledge. The knowledge which is in your intellect, etc., pertaining to any branch of knowledge, well, that is also object of your knowledge. And gross body is object of knowledge. Prana, etc., is object of knowledge. Your hunger, thirst, etc., the circulation in the body, etc., whatever, and the constipation and these, everything is just an object of knowledge. And definitely object of knowledge. And then I said, let us replace instead of, because knower has the status of a knower indicates it is knowledge. So we say object of knowledge you replace with the consciousness. This is one and the same thing, and therefore object of consciousness. Everything here is object of consciousness, and I is this consciousness. Well, that is not sufficient. You know that you are a consciousness, the I, and this gross body, subtle body, even the causal body called ignorance, etc. Well, whatever is there in the causal body, all is known. Even your karmas, suppose you don't know as such because they are unmanifest, but you know they are there. So it's also object of knowledge, because from the unmanifest only you are right now, what has come as a prarabdha you are facing, that's your karma in terms of sukha dukkha you experiences, and therefore they must have been there, and therefore they are unmanifest. Well, that way also it is an object of knowledge. That is not you, it's for sure. So, or else ignorance. Ignorance also, we have discussed this. I am ignorant if you are saying, well, that also you are taking the causal body, etc. as a yourself. And it is going to come. In causal body's definition also is coming. So, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram and Karana Shariram. So, well, this consciousness now, well, this conscious being is self-revealing. But now I discovered, well, in conscious being, well, whatever was there in this body, etc., is not a is not I, that is non-I, and I am just a consciousness which is self-revealing. Which is self-revealing. Conscious being is self-revealing is due to consciousness alone, and this consciousness is self-revealing. And about this consciousness, now you discover certain more facts, because you still self-confusion, self-judgment which is nothing but the self-confusion, still they are there. What are the things? I am time-bound. I am consciousness and time-bound. Still I am subject to death, subject to birth, subject to old age, subject to adulthood, subject to growth. Well, you are not. That's all pertaining to the gross body. That's also coming. Anyway, so basically you are not time-bound. How will you know you are not time-bound? And even though you are a consciousness, how will I know that I am all-pervading? I am limitless. How will I know? Well, so you have to take help of these three states of experiences. That's in our definition of Atma they have included also. Three states of experiences are there. Well, waking state, dream state and deep sleep state. Definitely I, the conscious being, is a waker. Same conscious being becomes a sleeper. Same conscious being becomes a deep sleeper. And without conscious being, definitely I will not have a waking experience. Without conscious being, I will not have a dream experience. Without conscious being, well, there will not be a deep sleep experience. Therefore, I, the conscious being, is present in all. Even though the names are different depending upon the states of experiences. I am a waker when I experience the waking world, the gross world, etc. When I become a dreamer, same conscious being, the I, becomes a dreamer when I experience the dream world. And same conscious being experiences the ignorance and joy, etc. in a deep sleep state. So I am called a deep sleeper. But the conscious being is present invariably in all the three states. And that conscious being, of course, now which is consciousness alone, so I can say the consciousness alone is present in all the three states of experience, invariably present in all the states of experiences. Then this consciousness, well, in the waking state, when it was experiencing the objects, it was also experiencing the time and space also, which is there in the waking world. And same conscious being experiences the time and space in the dream world. Maybe a dream time and dream space. And well, time and space both resolve in a deep sleep state. Still I am there, independent of time and space. And therefore, as a waker, I was having an experience that I am bound. I am bound as a waker because I have identified with the body, etc. Therefore, as a waker, definitely I was feeling bound in time and in space, etc. As a dreamer also, I was feeling bound in time and space in a dream world. But in deep sleep state, without time and space, I independently exist. That proves that I am not bound by time and space. Basically, I am independent of time and space. So the way I, the conscious being, as a waker, illumines the world, objects of the world, waking world, well, I was illumining the time and space also of the waking world. As a dreamer, of course, as a conscious being, I was illumining the objects of dream world, and definitely the same conscious being was illumining even the time and space of the dream world. So that is dream time and dream space. And well, even though we are not there, I am still there, illumining myself. And even the time space are not there. I am independently existing and self-revealing. I don't need time and space to illumine myself, or I don't need time and space for my existence. I am self-existent. Because therefore my existence is not dependent upon time, my existence is not within the space, and therefore even time and space are not there if I am existent, and well, then I am not bound by time, not bound by space, and therefore definitely in absence of time and space also, I exist indicates that I am limitless. I am limitless so far as space is concerned. I am limitless so far as time is concerned. I mean, limitless in terms of time and space is also my own experience. And therefore, definitely, When time and space both are illumined by me, they are dependent upon me. Time is consciousness is. When I become aware of the time, there is a time consciousness. When I become aware of the space, there is a space consciousness. It may be a waking time consciousness or dream time consciousness. It may be a waking space consciousness or a dream space consciousness. Well, they are objects of consciousness and I am independent of it. So, not the time is aware of me, not the space is aware of me. I am aware of them. I include them. I illumine them. I give the existence to them. Well, consciousness is not there. Where is the time? Consciousness is not there. Where is space? And therefore, basically, they are objects of, consciousness. Their existence are dependent upon me. So, I am not time bound and I am not I'm not bound in space also. I'm not limited in space. And that is, and that is where the word Ananta also can help. So you start with the Chit, consciousness, well, which is self-existent now. So you first negate all the three bodies, etc. And definitely you will find that you are just a consciousness. And consciousness, which is, what is the nature of it? It is Sat. Chit is Sat. That consciousness is self-existent. How can you say it is self-existent? Because it is invariably present in all the states. It is not dependent upon time. Anything which is dependent upon time, anything which is time-bound is definitely not self-existent. Its existence depends upon the time. And so at a particular point of time it comes, at another point of time it goes, and therefore it is not self-existent. Well, but in fact, the whole time exists in me, or time's existence is borrowed. Time has borrowed the existence from me. I am self-existent. Even in absence of time, I exist. Indicates it is self-existent. And that is how Chit is Sat, and definitely I am self-existent. But what is my nature? Well, I am limitless. Therefore, that Ananta word we have explained as Ananda. But therefore that limitlessness also can be taken for the help. That is Ananda, that is can be taken for the Ananda. We have taken it as a point of view, because the Ananda, the limitlessness, I experience in a moment of joy. When the situation, I'm in the mind's condition becomes so conducive that the limitlessness I experience, which I call it as a happiness or fullness, and therefore basically I am limitless. The consciousness is limitless, and therefore I am all-pervading. I am self-existent, I am all-pervading, and therefore in terms of even time and space, I am limitless. I was existent in past, I am existent right now, I will be existent in future. That's what even Bhagavan also said, Natvevaham Jatu Nasam, etc. And so this is how you can, this is the process of going, and that is how even the definition of Atma also is. You can see the definition. It starts with the negation. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta. So before you arrive at your real nature, what you have taken yourself, and which is confusion, which is just an error, you have to get rid of the error. So you can definitely come to the consciousness or the Chit. Start with the conscious being which you are, for which you have not to, you need not have to ask anybody whether you are conscious being or not. Start from there, and then from the conscious being to consciousness, well, by negation of all the bodies. Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta. I am distinct from this. They are objects of my knowledge. Well, that's my own experience. Any object of knowledge, what is known to me is definitely different from me. For that also I should not go to anybody to ask, even not to even Vedanta also, that this much you know. But when it comes to the body, you have to take help of the body, because here there is a confusion. What is even the object of experience or object of knowledge, or what is known to you is this body, and it is object of knowledge much better than anybody else who knows about your body. Even the doctors can tell only after asking you few things. Well, that only you can tell. Whole the condition of the body, etc. Everything is object of your knowledge. And therefore, basically it's an object of knowledge. It is known to me. And what is known to me is non-I, and I, the knower, is definitely distinct from it. So this is the process you have to do. Perhaps it may happen that initially you will have to concentrate on negation part. Don't worry too much about I'm Ananda, Ananda. That's a matter of experience. Well, whenever the joy comes in your life, any moment, try to see what you are at that moment. And the object of desire, which as you have got it, or else otherwise also we have seen everything. Well, but you concentrate basically on this part, negation part, because it takes time. This is from the beginningless time we have taken this body is as a self from the creation itself, but the creation itself is in cycles. So and therefore this is beginningless time. I have taken this body as a self, and that's a self confusion, especially when I have the human body, and there is a self ignorance and self consciousness in the human body which is complete, and therefore even what is not I have taken it as a I. But how can I take the body as myself, Sanji? Because body is non-separate from the Atma. Body is non-separate from Atma because body's existence is depending upon your existence. Without consciousness, where is the body? And therefore physical body is because consciousness is. And therefore take the even help of even Anvaya Vyatireka also. Consciousness is because body is. Well, don't say that. If consciousness is because of physical body is, then in a deep sleep state you should not be there, because there is no physical body so far as this 7 hours of your sleep experience is concerned. Where is the physical body? No, Swamiji, I am aware of that I am physical body. Well, there is no sleep then. There is no sleep. If you are aware that you are a physical body, then there is no sleep. Then we will have only 2 states of experiences. Not even the second state also. Dream also, if you want to go to the dream and experience the dream world, you will have to assume a new body. This body will not be of help. You have to basically disidentify with the physical body. So it is just, even in your 3 states of experience, the physical body is just it is utilized only for waking experiences. Anyway, so this is how you can while in the waking state, when you perform varieties of the activities, remind yourself. There is an auto-suggestion you should give all the time. I am not the physical body. No, I am going for a walk. I am going for a walk. I am a walker. It will arise because you are self-conscious. It is going to arise. You need not tell everybody, and don't tell also. But or you may tell, whatever it may be. But remind yourself, you are not physical body. I am not physical body. Well, body's condition is known to me. Whether it sleeps, known to me. Whether it sits, it is known to me. Whether it walks, it is known to me. Whether it stands, it is known to me. Everything is known. It is tall, it is known to you. It is fat, known to you. Not fat now, known to you. Etc. So many things. Hair turns grey, known to you. Turns black, known to me. Everything. So, and therefore it is just an object of knowledge, object of consciousness, that is you, and that is and what is known to me, the consciousness, is not me. Means consciousness is not that, and therefore basically I want to add one more thing, but it should not create confusion. Ultimately, gross body we will have to include in the Atma, but Atma is not gross body. Please keep this thing in mind. Then the teaching is complete. Everything is basically a consciousness, and therefore this any form, even this gross body or any gross body, any gross thing, any form in the world, right now in the waking world I am talking about, just like that you pervade in the entire dream world, all the names and forms, including time, space and all the objects in the dream world, they are basically you only. And the same way this also is the same thing. So far as a waker only pervades the entire dream world, same way the consciousness pervades even the waking world and the waker both. And therefore waker also, which is identified with the gross body, etc., even that also is nothing but ultimately it is consciousness. But initially you have to negate, because you have already taken just body only as a self, even though body should be included in Atma, but that's a later part. Right now, ultimately, when you will come to know that you are limitless and all pervading, then it is easily you will accept everything. You will accommodate everything as that everything is ultimately is myself, including the physical body. And therefore, not only this physical body, all the physical bodies are also the forms of just limitless consciousness. But before that, the very primary thing is in negation. After negation, things become very simple. So first thing is, give a auto suggestion from the morning. You just give to your mind a auto suggestion that whenever I take this physical body, I will remind myself that I am not the physical body. Why? Because I am one who is consciousness, or I am the one who is knower, and what is known to me cannot be me. That's all. Knower and known cannot be one. Well, for that it is clear to you, and therefore this problem will not occur. So for some time, this is a nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is of two types, depending upon the situation. I mean, depending upon the identification. If it is a strong identification, perhaps you may have to sit down and do. That's also possible. Or sometime it may be so that even you can doing your daily chores, etc., and well, you remind yourself. You cannot therefore I'm just a consciousness, I'm not body, and you want to remain in that thought. It won't be possible when you are active, because you have to do a particular work, and therefore you have to just identify with the body, your body, and do the things. But definitely even a flash of thought should come in your mind, and for that the best thing is remind yourself in the morning itself, just once, that, oh mind, may you remind me whenever I take this physical body as myself. And then definitely mind will remind you. That's a great capacity of a mind called auto-suggestion, and it will help. So for some time, do this kind of a nididhyasanam. I am distinct from physical body. And just physical body means what? Well, we are going to do now. And so all these things which is going to define, which defines the physical body, those all things are not I. You are Satchidananda, you will be Satchidananda, don't worry about it. Nothing is going to happen to Satchidananda, but at least what you are not, non-I should be recognized as a non-I. First, the self-confusion should be removed to the extent. And therefore ignorance is there, therefore it will definitely going to create the confusion. Confusion's janani, confusion's mother is only ignorance. And so far as self-ignorance is concerned, it will create the confusion. But you can remove the confusion initially, and then definitely think about the factors that even as a consciousness, what you are in reality. That is, not you are time bound, not you are a space bound, I am not limited in space, etc. So this thing is very essential later. Anyway, now so here, the first in Atma's definition, it has been told sthula sukshma karana sharirat vyatiriktah. So the sthula sharira is what? Sukshma sharira is what? And karana sharira what is now defined. Let's read the definition. Sthula shariram kim panchikruta panchamahabhutaihi kritam satkarmajanyam sukhadukhadi bhogayatanam shariram asti jayate vardhate viparinamate apakshiyate vinashyati iti षड्विकारवत् एतत् स्थूल शरीरम्. So before I go to this definition, one more last point which I remembered about. See, we discussed this, the self-judgment, universal self-judgment, which is nothing but self-confusion. So universal self-confusion is what? I am ignorant, and I am mortal, and I am unhappy. Well, that's a universal confusion. And this knowledge definitely helps in as much as, well, I am not ignorant, I am just knowledge, I am consciousness, I am not mortal, I am self-existent, and therefore I am not bound by the time. I am timeless, means immortal, I am not immortal, and I am unhappy. Well, I am not unhappy person, I am happiness, fullness, which is called Ananda. So we have derived this Sat Chit Ananda, that's knowledge regarding the self, and the confusion was I am ignorant and I am mortal and I am unhappy. So I am Asat, Achit and Anananda. That was a confusion regarding centered on the self. We have derived, well, that's a confusion because basically I am self-existent consciousness and fullness or limitlessness. Anyway, now let's go to this this definition. Even we are defining all these things in order to understand that I am not that. That's all it is. So I am not just Sthula Shariram. It doesn't much create a more understanding. What is Sthula Shariram? If we know clearly, then I am able to negate it clearly. So that is how it is they are going to define. So Sthula Shariram Kim, what is this gross body? So the definition, see. Now here in definition we have to rearrange the words in order to complete the understanding. So in the last line it is said Etat Sthula Shariram. This is the gross body. Kritam, which is in the first line, Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam. That Kritam you have to take. So Etat Sthula Shariram Kritam. This gross body is made up of what? Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam. So Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi. So this gross body is made up of grossified 5 basic elements. And how does the body come? Satkarma Janyam, which is born due to Punya Karma, good karmas. Then further says Sukha Dukkhadi Bhogayatanam. What is the use of this body? Well, it is the counter for the enjoyment of a pleasure and pain. It's a window for enjoyment of pleasure and pain. Shad Vikaravat Shariram, this body is has a 6-fold modifications. What are they? Asti, Jayate, it exists. Jayate, it is born. Vardate, it grows. Viparinamate, it becomes adult. So it undergoes certain modification by which the body looks adult. Apakshiyate, degenerates, and vinashyati, perishes. Iti, sthula shariram. Well, this is the gross body. This is what they say. Now in this whole definition, first we will take Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Ayatanam. Ayatanam means, this physical body is called Ayatanam. Ayatanam means a dwelling place, counter. Basically, if you go to in a railway, etc., here you don't have a much problem, but maybe I don't know. But anywhere, suppose in India there is a railway for that, there is a counter, a window, in which you give a money and the person who is on the other side gives you a ticket, etc. So this is how it is. It is called a counter. So the physical body, well, it is a counter for the experiencing Sukha and Dukkha. Because Sukha Dukkha you experience through the world. So world enters. When objects enter, right, in you for giving you the experience of Sukha and Dukkha. So through which gate it enters? Well, through the physical body. First physical body. Swamiji's senses, we'll come to that. The senses are basically instruments for enjoying. That is going to be defined in Sukshma Shariram, etc. So, but this is a counter. Even the physical body, if you have withdrawn from the physical body, well, there is no Sukha Dukkha. And therefore, when you are present inside and the world is outside, this body is a counter in between. It's a window in between, and the world enters into you for giving you pleasure and pain through this body. So what is called Ayatanam, a dwelling place. So and Sukha Dukkhadi. So that's good. Because entire world does not give you pleasure or pain. Some of the objects, in fact, so many objects are there for which you have indifference also. That's called udasi bhava. You don't bother whether they are there or not. They don't give you pleasure also. Certain objects don't give you pain also. In fact, in our room itself, there are so many objects which do not give me a pleasure also, which do not give me a pain also. So that's how they say sukha, dukkha, adi. Adi means etc. Means there are certain objects which are of this category also. So pleasure, pain or indifference, either. But any object which does not create in you even the pleasure or pain, well, they enter through this counter. So physical body is said, and that is called sukha dukkhadi bhoga ayatana shariram. Now let's go to shariram. So shariram means what? See, shariram we have discussed, I think, in Bhagavad Gita. There is a root called shru. Shru root is there, which has a meaning visharanam. Visharanam means disintegration. And therefore shariram means which disintegrates, is called shariram. So shariram means shiryamanatvat, shiryamana svabhavatvat iti shariram, they call. This is a etymological meaning. I mean, if you derived into through its root, the meaning of the word shariram, if you derive through its root called shru, you will get this meaning. Shiryamana svabhavatvat means body is something which has a various parts that are put together and they are subject to disintegration. And so this assemblage of varieties of the things which is called shariram, and the anatomy is definitely called sthula shariram. And we have seen, of course, when we talked about mithya, if you remember, and then we compared with the flower, etc. also. So body also, various parts are put together and they disintegrate again. The parts disintegrate. Well, and then we also said put together intelligently. That also, if you remember, when we were defining the mithya, we also said which has been put together and intelligently put together so that it can serve a certain purpose. All this is included in this definition of mithya. But here, just sthula sharira, we said it is mithya because of this thing only. I mean, it is put together. Various parts are put together. And visharanam means these parts again, they get separated. Okay, what is put together? How does this anatomical body, what does this consist of? Now here, various people in the world look this body differently. Anyway you look upon this body, definitely still it is it is just a put together thing. It's an assembly which is put together. Then now if you just, take the body in terms of, this medical people looks like, it consists of cells and limbs and parts, different parts, organs, etc. So we can talk in that way. That's one model. Well, chemist will look upon this body as just elements. And he will say in this body the carbon is this many percentage, calcium is this many percentage, phosphorus is this many percentage, etc. etc. Iron is this much. And then there are certain micronutrients also, microelements are also there. And this is how, hydrogen and everything. So chemists look upon it as a different model. He looks upon it as a base elements. Elements are put together, and then this our biologic people, they will look upon this. It's just a bunch of cells. So the bunch of cells are put together, and again they disintegrate. Well, and Vedanta looks upon this as a Pancha Mahabhuta model, and a model, as I told you, it should be understood. Model should be understood as just a model, means it is a prakriya, it is not something absolute. That's how people look upon it little differently. So it's just a point of view. Chemists look upon it as just certain elements. Biologists look upon it as a just bunch of cells. And other people look upon it as a limbs and organs and put together. And our people, Vedanta, they look upon it as just 5 elements. So this is just a point of view. Any point of view is a model. is a model. We call it in Sanskritam, we call it as a prakriya. So we have this prakriya for that. So it is not an absolute thing. How do you look upon the body is different from different people. So Upanishad definitely looks upon this as just 5 basic elements, and therefore Tattvabodha also looks upon it as a 5 basic elements. And Upanishad's aim is ultimately, to point out what is true. This is going to be proven as a mithya, non-self, etc. And therefore, the Upanishad's aim is only to point out what is true, what is vastu, not to point out what are these basic elements and how they are arranged and what are their functions and etc. And that is not the criteria, that is not the purpose. It is purely concerned with the reality. That's how I said, even though we are describing the gross body, then you may definitely ask that if it is a non-I, if it is anatma, if it is mithya, why are you discussing all these things? Ultimately to make you understand that you are not that. That's all it. So we are interested in reality only. That is the I. That is the consciousness, that is the reality, not this body as a atma. But we have taken it because of confusion. So that's how they are describing this. So in presenting this reality, it has to deal with our empirical reality called body, etc. And therefore, we'll have to take into account. So to arrive at even, the consciousness, etc., we have taken this experiences like waking state experience and dream state experience and etc. And we have proved that no, waker, dreamer, etc. are not real. Now you can definitely say why you should talk about it. You just talk about Atma. But through the experience we have to say that. You cannot directly point out to the Atma because Atma is not that way an object of knowledge for anyone. So the experiences are there, that is available for me. Through the experience we come to know what is the reality and what is unreal. In the experience itself you can see that something unreal is there and something real, invariable is right there. Well, so through experience we prove. This is empirical reality. That is called empirical reality. That is what the experience is. Waking state, dream state, waker, dreamer, or deep sleep, etc. All is an empirical reality. Through that we ultimately know what is a ultimate reality, and that is Atma, etc. So the concern of the Upanishad is to show this, what is the content of all the experiences, what is the truth of experiences, what is the reality of experiences, that is the self. So everything ultimately, every experience is ultimately proved in terms of content is Atma alone. That's what it means. Every experience. Waker is consciousness. Whole waking state is consciousness because they are non-separate. Anything which is non-separate from the particular thing, well then we can say that particular thing only has expressed itself in this form. Like the reality suppose is a clay, then definitely I could say this the clay itself has manifested in various forms of pots, pans, etc. And therefore they are, because pot is non-separate from the clay. So they are mithya. That's not real. Pot is also real and clay is also real. Well, that's not correct. So the content of all these vessels, etc., I mean earthen vessels, is just a clay only. So same way, whatever experiences we have, the content of all the experiences, in which any experience will have, at least 2 things. There are 3 of course, but we can say 2 things: experiencer and object of experience. Well, both is nothing but consciousness. That is the content. That's the reality. That is the essence, you can say. So you say essence, you say Atma, you say reality. Well, it is everything is same thing alone. And therefore, so we have to talk about the experiences, even though it is mithya, etc. But we have to come to know through the experiences what is the essence of the experience. And therefore, all these things are, all these things are describing what is empirically real. So all human experiences are taken into account. Anyway, now here we know also that Atma is distinct. We have of course defined that is Vyatirikta, Atma is distinct from this gross body, etc. Well, we have to understand very well that distinct means it's not a physical separation, etc. In my understanding, well, I have to negate that I am not the physical body. That's all it means. Vyatiriktaha means not I have to separate it. It is not possible also to separate, you know very well. So, in my understanding, what I have superimposed upon the self, I have to negate it. For that purpose, this is described. So, first we will negate the physical body made up of these 5 elements. So, it has been told, Panchamahabhutaihi kritam. This Panchamahabhutaihi kritam. Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi kritam. They say this Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi kritam. So, Panchikrita means this is gross. Well, it will come. Let's first look into Panchamahabhutaihi kritam. We can, the whole thing we can look upon in a 5-fold way. So, in this body there are 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action. Well, and the 5 senses correspond to 5 sense objects, and that you know very well: sound, and then touch, and then form, and then taste and smell. Now, all these 5 sense objects, well, that we experience through the 5 senses are manifestation of 5 basic elements. Well, of course, the sense organs etc. is going to come in the subtle body, but we want to say everything is ultimately manifestation of 5 elements. Even the gross body also. Let's keep this thing aside and talk about the gross body as such. How will you know, Swamiji, it is made up of 5 elements? I think I have discussed in Bhagavad Gita, but if you want again, well, it has a certain smell. Body has a certain smell that belongs to the earth element. It has a water, definitely you know, and therefore water is also present. It has a certain temperature. Well, that indicates there is a fire element, and there is air in terms of at least prana, etc. So that also air also is there, and there is space inside. So you can understand very well that, I have told you the shape of the body is due to water, and therefore all these 5 elements are there, and we say it is shariram. So this gross body is made up of 5 elements, and at the time of the being shariram, it is going to disintegrate. Well, it is made up of 5 elements. It will disintegrate into 5 elements also, and that is how one by one all elements go. That's how we say. So when this body dies, they say the Agni Tattvam, the fire has gone, and definitely then of course prana also, Vayu also has gone. The air also has gone, but vital air has gone, and then and slowly, if you keep it aside, slowly it will shrink. Initially it will bloat, but slowly it will shrink, and then water also goes away. And if you put in fire directly, if you don't wait and put it in fire, well, water and earth elements also go, and water will of course become, it evaporates, and the earth which was there in terms of all these bones and etc., well, it turns to ashes, and of course space which is there inside, well, will merge into the space which is outside that. So all the 5 elements, this is made up of 5 elements, and definitely if I am right now making this a sound, I am talking to you because there is space inside. If the space is less, when a person eats too much, eats so much, then if you tell him to talk about 1 hour, he could not. He finds very difficult, because the space has been consumed by the food. Anyway, so all 5 elements are there. This is our model, basic elemental model. And here it is said Pancha Mahabhutaihi, Mahabhutaihi. Well, Maha means basic, and Bhutani means elements. And Mahabhuta, it is told, so in physics also, we have learned that periodic table. Well, 108 elements, or now I don't know, but in those days we were having a elemental chart, periodic table, and they say this in the creation there are 108 elements, what it may be, or 110, whatever. So this is Mahabhuta, even this is basic. This also, whatever we are talking about, those elements in the physics, they are also made up of even ultimately the basic elements. So Mahabhuta, very basic elements. And of course, and this physical body, which is made up of 5 elements, basic elements, but they have added one word, Panchikruta Panchamahabhuta. And Panchikruta means grossified. And what is grossified is, it's a technical word actually, Panchikruta. Means through the Panchikaranam, there is a process of mixing the 5 elements in a certain proportion. It is going to come. So the subtle elements, when you mix in a certain proportion, then it gives rise to a gross element. And gross element means an element which is physically available for perception. That's all it means. So can be perceived by one or more senses. That is called a Panchikrita, means grossified. And this body, which is made up of this grossified, basic elements, 5 elements, well, and not only this physical body, any physical body is made up of, any gross body, which is made up of this 5 elements. And well, Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam, and then it is said Satkarma Janyam, very beautiful. Now the question arises, if all bodies are made up of 5 elements, then definitely all bodies should look same. Why they look different? That was the question. So then it is said, all these bodies, even though they are made up of same 5 elements, basic elements, and that gross elements, well, but they look different because of karma. Because of karma, they are looking different. Otherwise, all bodies will look alike. And because of karma, so place and time and etc. also selection of place and time of the birth of this body also is determined by karma. Even a body of a worm also is born of a karma. A virus and bacteria and everything ultimately, any gross body. Everyone has a gross body. Visible or invisible, that's a different matter. But basically, it is born of this karma. And but Swamiji, you said the gross means it is available for the senses, etc. Then bacteria body I am not able to say. Correct. But we are talking about this physical body right now, Sthula Shariram. So we are talking about the human body and that too we are talking because this Sthula body, the gross body, I have taken it as a self. And therefore, in order to disidentify from this, to negate it as a self, we are talking about this physical body. Otherwise, any physical body, well, of course, it is born of karma only. And why a human body? Because Satkarma Janyam, so that's how I am saying, Satkarma Janyam. Otherwise, bacteria body, we cannot call it Satkarma Janyam. So here we are talking about this physical body because the purpose is, I am not the body. That's ultimate. We want to arrive at the negation of this physical body as a self. And therefore, we are describing this human body. Therefore, of course, human body is made up of gross elements which are available for senses. So it is born of Satkarma Janyam, it is born of some Satkarma, Punya Karma, good karmas. But definitely not pure Punya Karmas, because ultimately if pure Punya Karmas means if there is predominant of Punya Karma of a Jiva, then definitely this one gets a Deva Shariram, a celestial body. And pure Papa means a lot of predominance, the predominance of Papa Karma, then definitely you get a animal body. Or even this, I told you about this, even a tree also. This is all due to Papa Karma. So there are, and that's how, even when you start talking about the, this kind of bodies which are born of Papam, there also you find so many variations. One can born as a frog, and one can born as a tree, and one can born as a bacteria, and one can be born as a dog, anything. And there also, because of a particular body, even in the Papa Yonis, well, definitely it is also due to variation in Papa Karma. But and ultimately, predominance of But Swamiji, predominance of pap karma is there or not? Yeah, predominance of pap karma. Then that way it is similar. It should be similar. No. But you know what kind of a pap karma you have done. That also depending upon that you get the body. So even though predominance of pap karma is all right, but the specific pap karma gives you specific body. That's what I mean. So there are two things. Nana vidani. Like, we say, Nana vidani pushpani samarpayami when I talk like this. Nana vidani. There are many and varied. So flowers which you offer are many, definitely, because you are offering. You are doing archana. So you are taking lots of flowers. So there are many. Nana. Vidhani. Vidhani means varied. There are varieties also. And therefore same way. Therefore there are Nana, the papams are many. But also varieties. So there is a predominance of papa karma for a particular body. Well, for all papa yonis, that is correct. But in that also, if you find a variation, one is born as a dog and one is born as a frog. Why that is so? Even though all have a predominance of papa karma. Well, that variation is due to a differentiation in papa karma. A specific papa karma gives specific kind of a body. Well, so this is how, Punya Yoni and Papa Yoni, both are there. And one is a Mishra, Punya and Papa, then it will definitely give this human body. But Swamiji, it is not said Mishra, Satkarma Janyam it is said. Yeah, some special Punya with certain Papa will give this human life. That's how it is. Even though this body is not predominant in Punya karma, but a specific type of punyam will definitely give a human life. Well, and papa karma also is there. Otherwise, I would have born as a celestial being, devata, etc. So we have to understand this way. So satkarma janyam, it is born of satkarma. And that's how even, in Vivek Chudamani, very beautifully said, Jantunam narajanma durlabham. Jantunam narajanma durlabham means among all the living beings, this to get a human body is rare. Even though it is not born of a pure punya karmas, or a predominance punya karmas, still a specific kind of punya karma is required to get this human body, and that is and therefore even if you look the living beings around and their bodies, you find there are so many. In that, to enter into a physical body for a jiva, the human body, is very rare. Because so many varieties are there. Out of all this, all you have missed and you have entered here, well, you must have done a specific punya for that. So, that's how Satkarma Janyam, we have to understand in that way. The specific type of punya karma. And so the human body is Satkarmajanyam, Sukha Dukkha Bhogayatanam. It's an encounter, to encounter the world in terms of pleasure and pain. And then then other thing is told, Shadvikaravat. Shadvikaravat, we have already discussed this, very well. Najayate, Mriyate va, Kadachit, etc. We have discussed this physical body, that is, the human body, undergoes sixfold modification. And Jayate is born, Asti, it is, once it is born, you say it is. If it is born alive, please understand, then only you will put Asti. Otherwise, you say the particular child is born, but it is not. Swamiji is not there. But he is not there, yeah, body is there. Yeah, but you say he is not there. So that is how a body which is alive, born alive, then you say Asti. Otherwise, you won't say Asti. Until he lives. That Asti Vikara, Asti modification remains till the person, that body remains alive. So whatever the body which is born alive, you put Asti. Then Vardate, definitely grows, Viparanyamate, becomes adult. So it doesn't grow now in terms of height and etc. But you feel that he is becoming mature physically becoming mature. So you can very well say the person may be around 35, 40 or this, that. So there is he is not, now he is not declining also, he is not growing also. He is just achieving an adulthood. We can say that. So for Viparinama Swamiji, what is the translation? Adulthood, you can say. And then apakshiyate, it has to be apakshiyate, it declines. And vinashyati means this particular form doesn't remain. So this is how we describe all this. So these all vikaras, all sixfold modifications also belong to the body. That has been told as a Shad vikaravat, etc. Asti jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. These are called bhava vikaras. I told you. Bhava vikaras means that anything that is alive, we will undergo this sixfold changes. Bhava means here alive. Vikara means modification. So whatever is alive will undergo this sixfold modification. Something which is not alive will not undergo any modification. Yeah, it is. It also undergoes modification, definitely. But you won't find like it has become a mature. Like suppose, you know, a inert thing like a mountain, let's say. Mountain is born at some point in time, definitely we have not seen, but it is born. That's for sure. And it will someday it will die. Well, before we go, it won't go. That also we know. It has its own time to go. Well, that's also correct. So therefore, jayate and vinashyati, both are there. Is born and it will go. So other vikaras also should be there, Swamiji. Yeah, that's there. But we are not able to see now. It has become a mature, or it is growing, etc. is very difficult to find. And therefore, in the physical, the living beings who are, the bodies which are alive, definitely you can find these sixfold bhavikaras. It may be a gross, it may be a gross body of a dog, it may be a gross body of a lion, or it may be a gross body of a human being. Well, definitely you can see the adulthood and everything you can be able to appreciate. So that is how they call bhava vikara. Bhava means which is alive, and vikara means modification. So anything that is alive will undergo these sixfold modifications. And that's called Shat vikara. Shat vikara means Shat means six, and vikara means modification. So this body is Shat vikara vat. I have told you, vat means it possesses of this sixfold modification. Like Bhagavat, one who possesses Bhaga, etc. So this Sthula Sharira, physical body, undergoes this changes, well, Shadvikaravat. And well, but how can Swamiji this body is alive? Well, because of a Sukshma Sharira. Well, it is going to come there and we'll discuss at that time. This Sthula Sharira is not me. Sometimes this Sthula Sharira also called Annamaya, etc. Well, the Panchakoshas are coming, we'll see that. So this body is Annamaya. Annamaya means Maya also means a modification. So instead of Shadvikara, you can call it Annamaya. Means a modification of Annam means food. So it's another way of looking at this body. Well, that's Annamaya, etc. is coming. So it is born of a modification of a food eaten by the parents and is maintained by the food. And when it dies away, it becomes a part of the food, that is earth. So it becomes a part of the elements, you can say. And therefore the Sthula Sharira also called Annamaya. And now tomorrow I will brief you that I am not this gross body. That is our purpose. This information is just academic information. If we don't discuss Sthula Sharirat Vyatirikta, I am not this physical body. Well, we have to see in brief tomorrow, very brief, and also we'll see tomorrow what is Sukshma Shariram, etc. And then we'll see what I am not even Sukshma Shariram. So this is how the negation part which I have taught you, that we have to concentrate first on that I am not either of the three bodies. So that part we are covering also. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.